So what's the easiest swing for senior golfers? Well, I can tell you this, it's different than traditional coaching. And you've come to the right place if you're an experienced golfer or the senior golfer. And I'm going to share with you the 3 key things that make up the best swing for senior golfers. I'm PGA teaching professional Todd Kolb, and I also am in this category of what I call experienced golfers. Now, the thing you've got to remember is that for the senior golfer, the key component is movement. Now, a lot of traditional coaching would tell you to restrict something. Maybe restrict your hip turn, restrict your shoulder turn. Have something in your body that's restricting while something else is moving. But the key for a senior golfer is to have movement. So what are those 3 key things? Let's talk about the first one. It's the one I'm the most passionate about. It has to do with the hips. So as we're addressing the golf ball, for a senior golfer, the easiest swing for a senior golfer is to have some movement. So I want you to watch my hips here. When I swing this club to the top, I want my hips to rotate and I want them to move. Now, how much they move and how much they rotate is a little bit of your own personal style and your own personal preference. But I think a good reference point is at least 45 degrees. So I'll even do this sometimes with my students. I'll have them put a club across their belt, like I'm doing right here, and just have them turn a little bit. All right? Now that's different than maybe what I'm going to call traditional method, where they might tell you to restrict your hip turn, which would look something like this. The hips don't turn, but I'm trying to move my shoulders. Now, as I've said before, if you've watched any of my videos before on this topic, we're not saying that that's necessarily bad information. What we're saying is it's probably not good information for you, the experienced or the senior golfer. So let me go ahead and hit a shot, and I want you to focus on my hip movement, and I'm going to dial in one other thing for you on this hip movement. So here we go. I've got good setup. I'm going to really feel like I turn my hips in the backswing. Okay, now that felt pretty good. You can see how much my hips turned and what I did there. Now, the key to doing that is the leg movement. And I want to share with you that key component before we dive into the next part of it here. So watch my trail leg. In order for me to turn my hips, right, my trail leg, for me my right leg, my right knee, it's got to release a little bit. See that? So to me, that's where that all starts. When you keep your trail knee flexed too much, okay, if you're super flexible, that works. But in order to try to stretch your upper body while keeping your knee flexed is very difficult. So one more time, then we're going to talk about the second part. And this time, I want you to watch my trail knee. So here we go. I'm going to turn my hips, trail leg release a little bit. There we go. Now that was even a little bit more solid than the first one. So that's the first key component. And all of these things are built around movement. All right? The easiest swing for senior golfers is a swing that's got movement. So that's hip movement. Now the next one I want to talk about is the movement of the arms. Because there's 2 different philosophies when it comes to the movement with the arms. And like I've always said, I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. There's a lot of ways to do it. But one way to do it, which I don't think is the best for senior golfers, is for your lead arm, it's my left arm right here, to stay really close to my chest. Okay, now when the lead arm stays really close to the chest and what we might call connected, all right, what happens is the swing, unless you've got a lot of rotation mobility, watch this from face on here, the swing gets very short. Okay, no matter how much I turn, look at where this club is at. It's very difficult for me to get it to parallel to the ground, the club shaft, right? But if I take my lead arm and I let it work a little more straight back and up, now I've got some freedom. See where that club gets? Okay? It gets much higher, and with height comes distance. So if you want some more distance, this is something you want to pay attention to. So let me go ahead and hit a shot, and what I want you to watch is the direction of the lead arm, and what you're going to see is it works more straight back and more up. It's what I call the vertical line. Here we go. Straight back and up. Turn the hips. That felt pretty good, all right? So that's got a lot of movement and a lot of freedom. So we've talked about 2 things here. Letting the hips turn, because the trail leg is releasing, and then some freedom in your lead arm. Feel like that lead arm goes a little more straight back and a little bit more up. Now, the third thing here, and we talked about movement, okay, is pressure movement, or I like to call weight movement, okay? The movement of weight from side to side gives you some distance, gives you some speed. Think about anything. Think about if I'm going to throw a ball, right? If I'm going to throw a ball, I'm going to kind of step, pick up my foot, step, and come towards you right there at the camera. All right, even a baseball batter, okay, they're going to kind of load their trail foot and go ahead and hit it. Much like tennis, a lot of you might be tennis players. Load the trail foot, move to the front foot. The same thing happens in golf. And what I'm going to do here at the end is I'm going to share with you a drill to really help you with that. So here we go. What I want you to watch is some movement. So I'm going to start with a little bit of weight on my lead foot. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I like 60-40, right? 60% on the lead foot, 40% on the trail foot. And I got to tell you this, if you haven't already, hey, be sure to join the family here at US Golf TV. Be a subscriber, ring the bell, tell a friend about us because we're doing the best we can to provide great content all of the time. So here we go. I've got a little bit of weight on my lead foot. I'm going to move it to my trail foot. There it is. So the third component you got to have in the course of movement is movement from side to side. Lead foot to trail foot. So I start with 60. At the top of my backswing, I'm probably, I don't know, 70, 80%. Now, of course, in the downswing, I'm working hard to the front foot. But the key is to start with a little bit on the lead, move to the trail, okay, and then move forward. So those are the three components in terms of movement for the senior golfer. What's the easiest swing for you? It's got movement. We've got hip movement, we've got some lead arm movement, we've got some pressure movement. Now, how do we tie all this together? What are we going to do when we head to the golf course? Well, I'm going to share with you, you might have seen this drill before if you're a follower of us here at US Golf TV, is our right, left drill. Okay, here's how it works. This ties all of these things together. All right, so here's how it works, face on. When I swing the club to the right, I say in my head right. That means the club moves to the right, my weight moves to the right. And when I say left, the club moves to the left, and my weight moves to the left. So look something like this. Here we go. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit a shot. And I'm just going to repeat that phrase to myself, but it's going to be a little bit quicker. Here we go. Right, left. Now when you move like that in continuous motion, the club will move the way that you want it to. So the easiest swing for the senior golfers is different than the easiest swing for a young golfer. These couple tips right here are going to help you make an easy swing no matter your age.